With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
You are listening to DC On Screen.
All right, welcome into DC On Screen. This is a weird episode of DC On Screen. It's always weird when Jason and I are recording in the same room, and it's weird for me when I'm not in my office, when I'm instead in his office.
Of course.
But
and it's all the weird wrestling.
Yeah, it's strange. Here's what happened. As we said we were going to, we recorded in order to get through it.
To survive it, yeah.
On an emotional, physical level.
Yeah. Spiritual.
We watched Superman 3 with our wives. Mm-hmm. We recorded a commentary. That commentary is currently on Patreon. Well, not currently, but when you're hearing this, it will be.
Yeah.
Currently
it's named File 1.
In lieu of making notes, I chose to pay attention to the movie as best I could, and we all just made fun of it.
Right.
Because of Superman 3. We will talk about it here, but it's not going to be as in-depth.
No. Not nearly.
Yeah, so, I've got some trivia, and we'll talk about our general thoughts on the film. But it won't be like a play-by-play, here are all my notes kind of situation. I very much hope that it's not a 2.5, 3 hour review as these last couple have been.
I don't expect on this one. We did get to digest most of it in the moment on a lot of that one.
Well, there's not a whole lot to digest.
No, it's a scant little movie.
It is a strange, scant movie. And by God, Richard Pryor does cover a multitude of sins.
He really does. Yeah, he seems to be in his own movie for most of it.
And for the better.
Yeah, his own half-decent movie is being filmed around this one.
Yeah. Well, that's it for our review of Superman 3.
Yeah, that would sum up a good chunk of it.
The Salkinds gave Lois about 12 lines in this movie.
Yeah. Good ones, though.
Yeah, they were pretty good. I'll give them that.
They had some of the best honest laughs in the film.
But, she talked shit about him in the press.
Right.
Didn't like Lester, didn't like the Salkinds. And they were like, well, as I recall, you and Superman broke up in that last picture.
Yeah.
And, of course, I'm not a big, rest in peace and all, but I'm not a big Margot Kidder fan. I didn't really care for her version of Lois. Love Annette O'Toole, though.
Yeah. For some reason, she does pop more. And they seem to...
Yeah. That's a word for it. Pop, pop!
Calm down, magnitude. Yeah, like for some reason, she is a little more engaging on screen, a little more charismatic. I don't know. But I say that and would have eggs thrown at me in certain situations. Like, Margaret Kidder is a beloved portrayal here. Mm-hmm. And... at times, I really do get it. She was genuinely funny with the couple lines they gave her here. Like, she bats nearly 1,000 in this movie, where she does so little.
It's shocking, and it's impressive that she is able to. She has the wherewithal to have that timing,
right? Yeah,
because she does not look well.
She does not. It's a weird face makeup situation.
Weird face up.
They got her over tanned,
and I think those are different teeth.
Yeah. Yeah, which they were, I think those had made an appearance in the portions that were filmed in the 80s, I believe.
Yeah, it's weird, and...
continuity had become a bit of a jungle with some of the stuff that was going on there.
Yeah, and like, we were... Bethany was actually, looked it up, I think it was like last night, and was shocked that she died just kind of recently in 2018.
Yeah, it was not that bad. It was tens, I think, yeah.
It was like...
I remember.
Good Lord. Because she's not looked great in these movies.
No, I mean she's not dying on screen here, but you can definitely see that her health from like the very first portions of part 1 to here are not the same.
Right. Then it's not really a body shaming situation I'm trying to get into. It's just a oh my God, was she okay?
Yeah, she actually was having genuine health issues. These were not well days for Marga.
Yeah. I mean, it was the 70s and 80s. They were not well days for many people.
It was a lot of not well days. But one of the things the film did that was about as regular as every other one, a couple scenes, like the one we have playing in the background right now is the fire, the explosions in the fire. It's like they just cherry-picked a few and said, okay, we'll get these right.
Yeah.
And everything looks good. The superhero type stuff looked like it was organically oriented in the scene, not just weird. They didn't make up powers just to show off a camera trick they thought of.
Right.
Everything was supposed to happen, except whatever this acid situation is. I don't know.
Yeah, like there are things like, at this chemical fire, Superman's, several scenes where he could have just like blown out the fire.
Yeah.
He could have freeze breathed the fire.
That was an easy one.
Yeah.
Easy one.
Instead, he stumbles and damn near just like walks, even staggers through some flames and
squints his way through the fire.
Squints from the smoke and everything. By the way, all these firefighters are real though, except for that one main firefighter who talks, the black dude.
Yeah,
he's an actor. All the others were real firefighters.
Okay, so they had to have one actual like SAG card do the line. Everybody else's.
Yeah.
That's cool though.
But
on the one hand, I want to be like, oh, cool, give them some representation. They were probably just cheaper.
Yeah,
probably just cheaper, and that's all they thought about.
Maybe, probably.
I don't want to stop and presuppose any good intentions on behalf of the producers here.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't give them, the benefit of the doubt on good intentions.
Well, just that they might be thinking like, oh, look, an opportunity to cast some people in the background that would really like that.
Yeah. No, nothing like that.
Nothing like that.
Nothing like we want authenticity on the screen. I mean, it's probably way cheaper just to get real firefighters and be like, yay! Yeah. You don't get to speak, but also we don't have to train you on how to use this equipment.
Right, yeah. I would argue that like when you want authenticity on screen, hiring people who actually do jobs to do those jobs on screen is not one of your. Mm-hmm. Don't do that.
Yeah.
They're back there doing stuff that's not fake extra.
Yeah. Like, if you had like an extra playing a firefighter, you'd just have like someone grinning and staring at the camera while like jacking the fucking lever, like, this is what I'm doing. I'm a fireman.
Or you fuck up and they just get bored and like you have a bunch of ruined takes because they're back there disassembling a piece of equipment that doesn't look right.
Yeah.
Because they don't know how to just stay in character and chill for a fucking second. Like,
what did you, dude? Okay, so I know it's slapstick, a lot of slapstick humor.
So much.
I will take a slapstick opening over just words on a space background for 10 minutes.
Yeah, fake Star Wars, and then a bunch of tiny little white sets with the weird crystal design. I mean, look, it's better than Krypton. It was better than Krypton.
I mean, I think I'll take
the unemployment office scene all day.
Oh, that was Richard a fantastic
Pryor, compared to anything else I've seen so far.
I mean, we've established Richard Pryor is a gem in this film. Yeah. Let's just, everything he did was gold.
Yeah. Specifically the grunts and whimpers.
Yes.
I don't know if they wrote those into the script or it just says Richard ad-libs here or what, but they nailed it.
The nervous walking while grunting.
Yeah. Those were great too. Yeah.
Yes. We didn't do 8 minutes of recap as we did
that
in the last
was an improvement.
film. Yeah. So, I mean, absolutely open me on the unemployment office. Show me, 10 minutes of slapstick and people falling.
Well, so one trend that we realized that was a problem. God, he's so drunk.
Brad.
His ongoing substance issues are a thing in this thing. So I didn't realize that I'd be saying on Superman 3 that we have a child abuse issue that's through the Reeves Superman films. But juxtaposed, because yes, they specific 3 different separate incidents where some child gets hit in these films or whatever. But this was the first one where I didn't see an 8-year-old boy's penis. So there's that.
He was 8 years old. He was like 3.
Whatever that kid is. I don't know.
He was 3. There's a difference between a borderline toddler or infant's dick and a 10-year-old's dick.
I agree there's a difference between the two. Not in the amount that I want to see them usually.
Well, yeah. I mean, at the same time, like, I'm not over here going like, no!
Yeah.
I'm not the dean from Community. I hope this doesn't awaken something in me. Like, no, it's just, Like, oh yeah,
it's not a matter of puritanical like avoidance for me. It's just a matter of did we have to? You didn't have to do full frontal. It's to me, it's the equivalent of like you could be in a urinal and see a side view of something. That's all. I get that. I don't get why you got to drop them down and do the thing and put your hands on the side all akimbo. That's a different kind of just unnecessary.
I don't think it was like all that, man.
It was
you have blown that shit up in your mind.
Well, only because you made me defend it.
That baby dick haunts you, man.
I just didn't realize it was the first time I hadn't seen it this time. As we were not getting the recap. Oh yeah, that scene that I didn't think was necessary.
The thing that you hated it so much that you missed it here. You're
right.
Hey,
yeah.
Where's that baby dick?
You pointed it out later. To be fair, the first time I was just like, oh, I don't want it, and then the second time it just gets compounded because you're like, I didn't want it the first time. Why did we made time for that? Really?
Yeah.
And then here we are now. What are they eating?
I don't know what they're eating. It looks like some sort of. We're doing a commentary.
Sorry,
again,
that looks like some shit the crafts table would. That's a prank.
Sorry, we're at the reunion is playing in the background now, and they've got some kind of. It looks like coleslaw.
Yeah, coleslaw pasta.
It might be potato salad.
A little pasta slaw.
Importantly, Brad is just upset because he's trying to get handsy with the only single lady in town.
Possibly a slaw quiche. I'm not sure.
A slaw quiche. Okay. Jesus Christ.
It was rough. Another big trope that fulfills a very thirsty movie.
Mm-hmm. As Lana dances in her yellow dress without a bra.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That was just what 80s bras looked like.
Sure. That's what it is.
Left behind.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Gone. For a set, like... I can't imagine that was just a set or a costume design choice just for her. Who would have thought about that? Like
anyone who looked at her.
How could that have possibly happened? In a movie that clearly had no interest in sexuality, how could they possibly? Like seriously,
what's weird to me is that scene where she looks at Clark and goes, "One day I'll be your mother."
Yeah. Yeah. So
because of Smallville,
it's like something Christian brought up too. It was like I don't know what age this is designed for because half of the movie, the slapstick is for 5-year-olds.
Yeah,
straight up 5-year-olds.
Yeah,
but then the other half of the movie is not. It goes from breastfeeding to the other side of what tits do.
Okay.
It's very much.
You have to understand though.
Yeah,
this is in the 80s for a certain. I mean, yeah, a lot of kids are going to be watching this, but also this is set for a very large segment of the population who grew up on Three Stooges. Like. I remember watching this movie with Matt.
Oh, just nostalgic slapstick.
With Matt Carroll's dad.
Right, gotcha.
Roger, who would just like sit there and like giggle and guffaw and howl at this shit.
So you think the GA interpretation was meant to be but roughly this? I do remember that slapstick. Oh, those are great tits.
Oh man, look at like oh man, she's got a great pair.
Yeah, look at that. Used to crack
pie
me
went
up.
in that guy's face. Look at that.
Yeah, that's good stuff. They ain't gonna fuck.
Juicy Lucy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roughly.
I know about your oil pan.
Oh, that Richard Pryor's color. Yeah. He's funny for a colored boy. I'm like, oh boy, you gotta move on from that. Please, for the love of God.
Oh my God, the demographic went wild on us. Oh God. Oh God, what happened? Humanity happened. I should have seen it coming.
Oh man. So yeah, bad movie.
So just in a couple words, it was rough.
Terrible movie. Except for Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
I have seen it pointed out that the bad guy in this film, what is his name?
I can never caught it. It's not.
I pointed it out like 3 times to you in the movie.
His name is not Lex.
Something Ross. Webster Ross.
Okay,
that's
gotcha.
it. Webster Ross.
I think his name is on several filing papers at some point in the movie. I should have caught that.
Webster Ross. Basically, they created Lex Luthor before John Byrne did that version of Lex Luthor.
It was an incredible version, though. I really loved his version. If they just slapped the moniker on this thing, I think it would have been perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have been seen as an iconic, like a well remembered Lex Luthor if they just put his fucking name on him right.
I think everybody would be annoyed that it wasn't Gene Hackman.
Of course, and of course, if they just saw this film though and took it for what it was, it would be a great portrayal.
Yeah. Now this dude was
smugly reading the newspaper.
I saw it pointed out. This dude was he was the main character in The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Oh.
And the first episode of that was called like The Vulcan Affair.
Yeah.
And the satellite that he's fucking with in this movie is called Vulcan.
Nice.
I'm assuming that was a callback.
Yeah.
But
why not?
It's fun.
Like, of course it is.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about this damn movie. It's not good. It's also, I think, at this late stage in my life, I'm going to say it's better than 2.
I do think it was better than 2, though. I do. Like even the visuals that are wanting for mockery, genuinely, they're rough a lot, but better than 2.
Yeah.
Like the visuals were genuinely an improvement. Not over 1. 1 still has them.
Yeah. Well, in parts it was better. It was like you can tell when it hits the lesser versions of 2, and they're just trying to like by God
Scrap it together,
make up the their money.
Yeah. Yeah. This one though seems to fail you in ways that are more disappointing than like infuriating. Like it lets you think it's going to go do a good job sometimes, and then it shows you something that I can't believe that can't be done better. It's not even like I can't believe you'd let it on screen. I don't know. I can't.
Well, the bit with the traffic, the little figures on the traffic lights fighting.
Someone spent time and money on that.
Someone spent time and money on that, but it should have never been.
That should have died in concept. Yes, absolutely.
That was so stupid.
That was dumb and world breaking. It makes things not make sense. But
it turns the whole thing into a cartoon.
Yes. And we were joking, mid film, we're joking about is he actually just supposed to be a genius, or like we had, taxonomically, it has to be that it's not like a technology kind of telekinesis kind of thing. He's not just a savant. This is actual magicry.
Yeah,
the man is using.
Yeah, the computers are just magic, and he accidentally is a savant.
Yeah, he is typing stuff that is irrelevant to the fact that he is magic when it comes to the computer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's fine for the street sons to be spanking or whatever that was they were about to be doing. It was a weird system. But the stuff that lets you down so thoroughly is like the overlay stuff, like just the dual exposure kind of stuff, where it's just
they do a lot of that too.
It's just that I'm a little hesitant to be like, that is really, I've seen you do this better. I've seen you do this better.
Yeah.
That's the best you had?
Like, use some of the shit from the first movies.
Yeah.
Like, just reuse some shots. Don't make it worse. Don't. And for real, like, there are shots where, like, Superman goes fly away and he's a ghost. He's translucent.
Yeah.
You can see shit behind him. Through him.
He's doing like Spot the AI style glitches on on screen at some point. Some of those are rough.
I know you got like pedophile Brad over here going like, let me show you how to handle balls, boy.
He really does. It gets super, super petty at some point. The way he's approaching him, he says something about Clark's mouth in his, during the scene. I don't know. Just none of it was required.
So weird. Like, well, Lana won't let me touch her. Come here, boy. Ugh.
Holding that ball in front. Like, it's bad when it's the character himself is in bad shape when he's just holding a ball.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, holding that ball all weird.
Yeah.
He's just holding it in front of him where you would hold it if you were grabbing it.
On the other hand, both Clark and Lana are there watching Brad with the kid. He doesn't need to protect the boy. Like, Clark's like, I think little Timmy or whatever his name is, I think he just wants to keep sucking at bowling, Brad.
Yeah.
Just don't show him shit. I mean, maybe Brad needs some kind of human connection. Maybe it's not just it's not a pedo thing. Maybe he's like, his wife left him and he desperately he misses his own son. And that's why he drinks,
It's got to.
There's like a lifeline there. But Clark's just being a dick and just being like, nah, I think you need to move on. Move on, drunkie.
I mean,
don't pull Brad aside and be like, hey, man, is everything going okay at home? Are you all right, Brad? It's just like, let me show you up in the most ridiculous way possible.
This is what he does, though. Like, this is not a kind Superman, even when he's trying not to be.
No, Clark's not kind.
Like, no.
Clark is petty as shit, dude.
Yeah, this is not a super nice, genuinely nice guy. I'm also just realizing how much this is Anakin's haircut.
Oh, definitely. That kid,
this is Lana's straight up Anakin's haircut.
That Lana's boy looks a lot like that Anakin.
Yeah. I didn't realize you could. This is the only haircut you were allowed to have for like 25 years.
Well, you realize when Superman like fucks off and he's like, Superman,
yeah.
Please.
Why?
Like when he's doing all that, like Superman is creating the next Anakin. Like that's what's happening. Like that kid, that's that kid's supervillain origin story.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna be like 15, 16, being like, I built a computer.
No, that's like
Richard Pryor taught me how to build a computer.
He's gonna be Metallo in like 20 years. I just watched him fly away. Like,
Piece of shit.
Yeah. Well, stood there needing help. He abandoned us.
I should have known he was evil. His suit was darker.
Yeah. Honest to God, like, just, you could fuck around accidentally and have more character development than this movie did. It wouldn't take much.
Yeah. You know that scene from Zack's Justice League where Henry is walking around in the fortress and all the different suits are showing up, like coming out and spinning.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic walk-in closet, by the way.
Yeah.
I wonder if this Clark
for your
has
4 things.
Yeah, I wonder if this Clark has the same thing where he like walks into like a big crystal walk-in closet and like all the different suits come out and he's just like, no, not that one, not that one. I'm feeling a little evil today. Ooh,
look at you.
Look at this dirty one. I've been rolling around in the muck.
Didn't realize you could have done that with an armoire. I didn't realize how thorough it was. We were talking about there. Is that man just got a sea turtles? He's got a pet. That's just rough.
What?
Look, the back of this. I just realized what his decoration on his bar is.
I mean, I've got a lot of turtles around my house. I can't say anything about turtles.
This is like a sea turtle shell that's been scrimshaw painted.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
That's like an actual turtle shell.
Yeah.
What a dick.
Yeah.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
I earned my degree online at Arizona State University. I chose to get my degree at ASU because I knew that I'd get a quality education, they were recognized for excellence, and that I would be prepared for the workforce upon graduating. To be associated with ASU, both as a student and alum, it makes me extremely proud, and having experienced the program, I know now that I'm set up for success. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Yeah, it's been scrimshaw painted into like whatever the hell that is up there.
Oh,
Probably like a family tree or some bullshit. Honestly.
Yeah. Man, it's like a family crest on a turtle shell.
Yeah.
That's sad. Maybe it's armor. Maybe it's not a turtle shell. Maybe it's just like that like bulbous armor that, dudes used to wear back in the day.
Against the proletariat? What?
I don't know, man. Back in the day. I don't know. I don't have a specific time frame.
If the poor come for a strap on the sea turtle armor.
I'm just imagining, like the bulbous, like rounded armor, that goes over their bellies.
Very much, yeah.
And then they've got the cod piece.
Yeah.
It's probably got like a little turtle head coming out, out of the cock, Oh.
I would like to know about why all that was rounded so much early on. That's probably just easier to make, to be honest.
Well, because they didn't know about crunches and they all had guts.
Yeah. It made sense in The Witcher when the one king had, like, he's got the rounded armor thing, but then when you watch him eat later, that tracks. I
remember it was like in the Bible, how like Nebuchadnezzar was like, hey, Daniel, what are you doing eating all those vegetables?
That's true.
You got to eat all this meat. We have mead, for Christ's sake. And they're like, Christ's sake? And he's like, yeah, you know what I mean. It hasn't happened yet. But
give it time.
So you have visions, Daniel. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So I think that's what we're looking at, I don't know what we're talking about anymore.
There's like whole sections of this movie that we normally talk about that are irrelevant. Like the scoring.
Uh-huh.
It's the same one. We've had the same score for 3 movies.
It's not the same. It's somebody else came in and did some John Williams themes in there.
They snuck all right. So
it sounds way shittier.
Yeah. They use the John Williams music when they need real score.
Uh-huh.
And then what they've done is they've just basically hired a slapstick section.
Uh-huh.
There's the slapstick orchestration section.
I will say I don't remember a slide whistle.
It's not an actual but it's as close as you can get. I think at some point I was like, oh, there's the flutes. Yeah, like that's what they do. It's like you bring on all the little sound things. Yeah. And then a couple little tubas to do that little thing. Yeah. We're halfway there already.
Right.
But yeah, they've got like the shitty, it's like the second half of Yellow Submarine, the Pepperland. That's not shitty. I I feel bad. Sorry, George.
Yeah, Jesus. Like that felt weird for me.
George Martin's estate. I apologize. But yeah, like it's the section you don't ever listen to.
You guys can't see Jason. He literally tensed up. It was weird.
It was shame.
he looked like a pastor's son who accidentally said "fuck church." You know, like it's like, hey man, I thought you were going to church this Sunday, but you're going to the water park.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck church. I mean, not that, not fuck church. I mean, like, just for this week, I'm not going to do that. Well, I've got to go pray.
Yeah. It's that section of Yellow Submarine we don't talk about, but it's good if you're actually listening to it, but not if you're actually trying to listen to it. It's a long conversation. And I haven't listened to it in like 12 years. It's enough for me to feel bad. I love the John Candy knockoff.
Yeah, the guy that's clearly not
John Candy.
Not John Candy. Yeah. Like the guy and his wife who is like clearly like 10 to 15 years older than him. Yeah. And they're going to go on this South American weekend or something. Why would they send him to South America? That's an odd choice. I don't know. Only, hey, because that's the only place that the writers knew had beans.
They know, beans. Yeah, there was a coffee situation.
There was a coffee bean thing before he decided he wanted oil.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, I think they win the export game there. Yeah. For sure. But that may be the most realistic thing in all of these films is nailing where the exports for coffee are done for the purposes of
I was a little nervous that your wife joined because I was like, she's going to like join on the worst fucking Superman thing.
The worst one we have.
That's not Superman 4. Yeah. And when they pulled all that out, I'm like, okay, you're doing me a little proud.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it devolved into sheer magic computer anarchy.
It got rough real quick. I mean, at least there was the Louis Vuitton. Yeah. Which he's carrying now. That bag would be worth like $100,000.
He's got like a really expensive Louis Vuitton
bag.
It's
huge too.
Which is a funny and like interesting little detail they've thrown in because he's clearly being like bankrolled by these rich assholes. Yeah.
They upgraded his yo-yo.
Yeah, it could have been Mortimer Duke for Christ's sake. Yeah. I don't think we would have known much of a difference. Actually, that would have been fun. If it would have been the Duke brothers from Trading Places. Oh. Yeah. Ooh, if it would have just been them. Yeah. Like we could like fuck it. We have Superman 2 in the Bond universe of the 70s. Might as well have this in the universe of Trading Places and Coming to America.
Like you could legitimately just like the Trading Places. Those dudes would have made just as good a villain for any of these movies. You just throw them in there and we'd find.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I would bet you $1 we can't make Superman forget he's super.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That would have accomplished the same goal.
Honestly, I'll use an ethnic slur in a bathroom stall. And it'll be my undoing for a second time.
Now that I think about it, that actually would be more deliberate than anything that happened here. Like this guy didn't seem to know what his plan was.
Right.
It just sort of
Superman kept shifting it.
Yeah. He was just rolling with shit. Yeah. And then designing balloons.
So there's a great bit in here where like after evil Superman plows this woman. Yeah. The blonde.
Yeah, he gives it to her.
Just totally, yeah. I'm surprised she can walk.
Because he's Superman. Did we see her walk?
Yeah. It's shocking. Most unrealistic thing in the movie. Yeah. And then like she's like, but, and he was like, I'm sorry. That wasn't me. That was a different man. I feel like Superman inadvertently gave every dude the greatest line to get out of anything.
Oh, the gaslighting line.
Yeah. Like, I'm sorry. That wasn't me. I killed that man at a junkyard. Yeah. He just looked like me.
I just wasn't me. That was a guy before me.
No, I saw him. He looked like you. Was he wearing a dirty shirt? Yeah. Well, yes. I don't wear dirty shirts, bitch. Look at my light-colored shirt. It's so clean.
I would love that. Was so clean. That was another version of me from the past. Gerald, we have 2 children. You helped name them.
That was a different man.
Different man.
I've been reborn.
I've been reborn. As of last Wednesday.
I put that piece of shit in a trash compactor.
When your cousin finally divorced, then I realized.
Okay. I mean, so what are you going to hang out with that Lana bitch? No, don't worry about her. I put on glasses and she thinks I'm a different guy.
Yeah, for real. Now, that was one of the fun points.
I am a different man.
It's true. One of the most interesting things about Hollywood to me is that, like, it is so... I can't believe you get away with what you do. It's so cruel, and like they make Margot participate in.
By the way, do you see these like sound waves going into his ear? In this shot where they're at the picnic.
Oh, they give a little...
They actually put like a cartoon, like sound waves
I didn't
coming
see this.
off screen and going into his ear.
I want to see that again.
This is in the picnic scene, and like little Timmy or Johnny or whatever the hell his name is, he's fallen on the one rock that's in the middle of this fucking field, and the dog is freaking out. And
I'm glad so they finally discovered his super hearing or how to use it. Like in the previous film, he just flies away from the girl getting slapped by the drunk mom, and
then the kid later on is like a petulant comic book fan.
Yeah,
he can't hear you.
There
Timmy.
they are.
And
he does the Bluetooth fucking symbol on the side there.
Yeah,
or like the Wi-Fi symbol.
But like as he's like leaving this kid, they're like, "Oh, he can't hear you," and the kid goes, "He can hear me. He has super hearing."
Yeah,
I'm like, "Oh Jesus."
Yeah,
that kid knows his shit.
Calm down, ass. Oh yeah. Oh, there's a Kentucky Fried Chicken, of course.
Yeah, of course. There's the Kentucky Fried Chicken. But what they should have had is the kid go, you know what he doesn't have? The ability to do telekinesis. They should have like, picked one of the stupid things that from Superman 2.
That he can just magically do.
Yeah. You know what he doesn't have? Hypnotic kisses.
Yeah.
Lois cries herself to sleep every night. What are you talking about, Jimmy? No, don't worry about me. Don't worry about how I know. I know.
I mean, we're in a world where like, so I flipped ahead and we're in the scene where like Richard Pryor's stringing this guy's fingers so he can dual operate the thing. And it makes more sense practically and in character than most of the 3 movies so far, as far as like a scene and why it happens and unfolds the way it does.
I mean, he's goofy and he's doofy, but like he actually like beyond computers, he actually shows like some ingenuity. Like, he seems like he's,
he's a go-getter.
He probably could get a better job.
He's like one of the guys that'd be like, I'd have him on my team, but then the first thing I just remembered is that like the first job we see, and he embezzles in hour 1 of his job.
But he does it wrong.
He does it wrong.
Does it wrong. Like you're supposed to like embezzle it slowly over time. I would imagine. Like
the only person you have less respect for than someone betrays you is someone who fails at betraying you.
Right, and they don't explain it. They explain it in how it goes wrong in Office Space, which mentions this movie, and that's where they got the idea.
That is okay.
Well, no, like in the movie,
they say this was the citation for it.
Yes, in the movie, like one of the characters, like
Superman 3,
Superman 3, and he's like, I thought I remembered this plot. Yeah,
cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But I saw some stat that said something like for him to make the amount of money that he made in that first week, they would have had to have had like 16 million employees or something crazy like that.
Yeah. That was a stupid amount of early 80s money.
Yeah.
Like, he should have taken that check and gone and fucked off to the other side of the country with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'd be like, this scam is going to come out. There's no way I can. Like, the whole point of the scam was that it's supposed to be under the radar. No, no chance. Although, to be fair, we came after the movie pretty hard for having seemingly no plan whatsoever to do with an embezzling employee afterwards. Like, a fair amount of the movie doesn't make sense. So, like, maybe if it was just that heavy, they had to bring it right to.
I mean, a great point of what doesn't make sense is this whole sequence that's going on behind us where Richard Pryor starts fucking with the computers.
Here's your
and then all of a sudden, like, people, like, just money is pouring out of ATMs.
Yeah.
Like, the Bloomingdale's bill is really, really high, and the guy rubs the grapefruit in the woman's face, which, clearly that part to me is like old school slapstick, angry husband sees a bill that he didn't do, he blames the wife, but it's really, really Richard Pryor's computer hackery. Yeah. I don't know why any of this stuff is happening though, just except to make chaos.
There's
or just him screwing up and trying to figure out his way of what he's doing.
Yeah.
Because he is drunk as shit.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he is lit. For a portion of this movie. It is a very drunk movie.
He does make a great little bit when after Brad passes out, and he's like, I fooled you into thinking I was drunk. And he's just like falling all over the place.
Yeah.
That's fun. I do really like Richard Pryor in this movie.
He does a great job. Like, I can almost see him leaving the set thinking, I think I did something there and having good hopes for it. If he was just thinking about what he was doing in those things. Because and they even leave him alone for a couple scenes where like, I'm sure he felt great that day.
Yeah. I think that's what they wanted. And I think he just went with it.
And then the rest of the film got spliced in there.
Yeah.
And then it started to go wrong.
He had to be disappointed because he had already he did talk about later how he was hoping this would be his his launch into dramatic roles.
No, sir.
And yeah.
Although I don't know. I mean, that may have been poor planning in general. I don't know to what. Like, none of what you saw in Superman 1 or 2 should indicate to you that like a dramatic role is in your future if you do anything in Superman 3.
Mm-hmm.
There is no role here that will aid you in your drama turn. Like, I don't know what the plan was there. I can't even imagine that something just changed dramatically on set.
Yeah.
Like that writer that we were bitching about the other day got his way too many times or something, and something like it just, that was probably just poor career planning.
Are you talking about Spengler?
Yeah.
Producer? Yeah. This is his last
Or
movie.
Mankiewicz, actually, right. Anyway, like, it was all of them. Like, I don't think enough change that would qualify as just not great career planning on his side.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was, apparently one of the things that made them want him in the first place is him talking about how he was excited to go see Superman 2 on Johnny Carson. So, I don't know. I think there was enough in Superman 2.
We'll take the one guy who wanted to see it, and we'll just...
Yeah.
I say that. I mean, we're just full of shit as far as that goes. Yeah, they don't hold up well. These things made plenty of money for the time.
Oh, even this one, made $60 million on a, what was it, 35, 39 million? I've got it written down somewhere.
I mean, it did fine.
Yeah, it did all right. It did fine. Enough for them to make another one, but this is the last one the Salkinds had anything to do with. So,
which you would think would have been a good thing in certain ways. I mean, they had basically strangled anything creatively that happened on the first and second one. Mm-hmm. Anything other than kind of their pet projects. Mm-hmm. They had not made two, knockout movies, and the third didn't do much better. Like, you could see the Salkinds leaving, and all the stuff that happened with the advertising coming in and out, and then having some major consequences that probably got rid of a lot of the costs that they thought they'd got. And it went poorly. Mm-hmm. I would have thought 4 maybe had a fighting chance, but it's not looking like that.
Yeah.
It just...
No, 4 is awful.
4 is the kind of movie that, like, now that we've sat and watched 1, 2, and 3, I see how 4 made sense.
Yeah.
When we watched 4...
And a progression of shit.
Yeah. And when we watched 4 years ago, I thought 4 was, like, this kind of weirdly aberrational thing. And it is not the case. 4 makes perfect sense.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
So that kid's name was Ricky, by the way.
The reggae
son,
Superman?
The little boy.
Yeller? Oh, okay.
The little boy. I keep calling Jimmy and Johnny.
Yeah.
Flippity floop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I saw my wife sent me a picture of it. It says Ricky. So that's his name, folks.
That'll
Ricky.
help us, yeah.
Yeah. Little Ricky who never did anything else in his life.
And he just, no.
So apparently there was a kid.
I don't know the prognosis of most of the people Superman saved here. We brought that up too. The girl with the cat. I don't know what happened to her family. It's not looking great right that second.
No.
I mean, the kid from the Niagara Falls, he's dead in 2 weeks from some misadventures. I
meant to tell you though, when
it's bad.
At the beginning of the movie where he runs into that phone booth to save the drowning guy. Yeah. Not the phone booth.
No, he saves a man.
The photo booth.
Okay, there's
the kid that he hands the picture to. That is the naked kid that played him in the first movie.
Nice.
That's the naked boy. So you got to see him.
That's funny.
You just didn't see his dick because he's too old for that now.
Yeah. Notice how when he was clothed, he remained unremarked in my head. I was like, oh yeah, that's tracks.
You didn't even recognize.
Didn't even recognize him. That was his dick all hanging out. If he just flopped it out mid-scene, I'd be like, oh, you!
Yeah. Oh, there you are. Yeah. That's also your problem with Watchmen. You didn't recognize Dr. Manhattan unless he had his dick out.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that blue guy.
Yeah. I never thought about watching Watchmen in like black and white, but what the fuck?
I thought the electron on his head looked familiar.
Yeah.
All right. You got anything else to say about the actual movie in terms of like structure or acting or?
I don't. I mean,
Interestingly, we've got Lana working at the Daily Planet. She may or may not be engaged to Clark. That part's kind of ambiguous. He never asked, but he did give her a diamond ring, and they do seem romantically entwined.
True. Well, that's something I was saying earlier. So the cruelest part of how this goes, like the end of this movie is just unnecessary. There is absolutely no reason for the scene where they just put a nail on the fact that Lana has completely taken over everything. You know, Lois is absolutely irrelevant at this point in these movies.
Like they brought her back just to be like, he's got a new lady now.
Yeah, like there's a couple lines there for fun, but I mean, it's just it's a weird thing in Hollywood where you can have someone show up and help you do the work of making not even just making fun of you, insulting you actively.
Mm-hmm.
Like it reminds me of like the Rumors and having like people sing backup vocals on songs where you're like calling him a piece of shit for cheating on you.
Like, sure.
It's a weird thing. I don't understand why, to some extent, people participate in these things instead of saying like, "No, I won't be there that day." Like,
yeah,
I know contracts. You're pretty much held, but I guess that's why it's such a bullshit environment in some ways.
I mean, without that kind of shit, you don't get art.
Yeah,
in the way of Rumors, anyway.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, no. What are they supposed to do? They gotta make their art.
Yeah. This asshole falling out of a window on some skis. Fuck you.
I like it because like it is bad, it's dumb, but I like it because he like lands in the middle of the street and on these skis, and then he just like laboredly turns around and looks up, and even he can't believe it. Like, oh
yeah.
It's like yeah, you should.
Yeah,
that's not how real life it all works, but okay, that's okay. Richard Pryor, your mere existence made it okay.
Yeah.
I thought the ending was atrocious. There was no reason for that woman to become his awful sister to become a robot woman.
No.
Cyborg.
No, I did not realize that was. I've seen that reposted recently. That was why. I didn't realize exactly why.
People were. I've seen people posting that they were. Childhood trauma unlocked. I remember this. Oh God. And I'm like, why was this a trauma for you?
Yeah.
Of course, I was watching shit like The Twilight Zone that was way creepier and had like better effects in some regards.
Yeah.
Whereas just like, like Twilight Zone, like, and even old Star Trek to some degree knew how to like show you just enough that you had to use your imagination and be really truly freaked out.
Yes. That's the point though. You'd leave it to the cut.
Yeah.
The editor would make it scary.
Yeah.
Something I thought they did here, though, well, in a couple scenes where they just left out the parts that would have made it awkward.
They got rid of her pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then they pinned that lady by her crotch to the side of the cave.
Right in the right in the badge, man.
Vaginal sparklers, as we talked about. Even like looking at Lana here in this scene where she's on the phone, but she's grabbing her crotch.
Yeah.
And it looks like she's like, just like, oh, you could just be like, oh yeah, she's just like hitched up her dress a little to like sit down.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like right in her coo, man.
Yeah.
It was right there. Like middle finger in the crease, dude.
Yeah. She's doing laundry like right after this.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like she's talking to Clark on the phone. She's got a knuckle on the clit.
I'm going to put some very uneven sheets in that dryer in just a second. It was just such a thirsty movie.
It was a thirsty movie. Yeah, it was. Yeah, she's always like looking over her shoulder. Go back in the kitchen, Ricky.
Yeah.
Mommy's on the phone, Ricky.
Gotta lock these doors.
It's been so long.
Yeah.
The only man asking is Brad. I haven't been able to bring myself to that yet.
And he cannot get it up like he thinks he can.
Oh my God, he's got whiskey dick all day.
Yeah.
He can't do anything else because of those two front teeth. My God.
Man's liver's harder than his dick. Oh, you're shitty. What is the
shitty cake?
That is a shitty cake. You know what? To be fair, they didn't know it was coming, and they just did the best they could with short notice. So they made a cake, but at the same time, they got a whole platform.
It's kind of hard to draw that Superman symbol.
Yeah, I know. But, like, you've got a whole platform and a giant... this is an entire procedure, and you just got a shitty little cake. Smallville's
like Mayberry, though. They're like, Aunt B, fix up a cake. We got Superman coming to town.
Yeah. Well, whoever was the cake specialist laid out sick, but the guys who build stages were feeling great that week, so they did a fine job. Did they ever put him in padding, by the way, for these roles?
In padding?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I meant to ask this at some point. Is he just in spandex for this?
Yeah, I think he's just in spandex. Like, he actually looks like he's in better shape for this movie than he did for the previous, too.
God, he does, yeah. He looks amazing.
Yeah. Dude, I love this. I love the Patton speech. It's so stupid. Miss Richard Pryor doing Patton. It's great.
I think I would like it more if I watched it right now, probably again. I spent the first time he's doing it, you spend the whole time just wondering what the fuck he's up to. Why are we doing this? What are we doing here? Where does this end? Where does it get us? Where did it come from?
I just don't care.
Where does it go?
It's just Richard Pryor doing a thing.
Yeah.
I'm just enjoying the performance, basically.
When I forgot I was supposed to be looking for something and just listened to it, it was good. But.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, I'm just like watching him go on, and I'm like, I don't know what he's getting to, because I don't remember this from, the last time I watched it, but, he's a lot of fun to watch at the very least, and it did come together, by God. Came together a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad they really let him just completely off the hook when it was his turn to do stuff on set, because it was the salvaging point of this.
Yeah.
It's certainly not the plot or the fight between two Supermen later. I don't even know what that fight is. It's a bludgeoning
fight.
It like he just beats his ass for a while, and then the one who's getting his ass beat kills the other one, and then they become one. I don't know.
That was good, overcoming the evil.
You didn't overcome the evil. You killed a man, and then magically the man became part of you instead of a corpse you were responsible for.
But they were both the same. They were split by the weird kryptonite.
Yeah. You didn't know that when you were choking him out, bitch.
He did.
Yeah.
Maybe he did.
I don't think you knew the consequences of that when you were doing it.
All these movies do some weird shit with that. Like, in the last movie, he was in the chamber, and Superman, like, wilted and died as, like, Suave Kent came out. Like, Stefan Urkel. Yeah. Like, suddenly he's got the damn, like, white shirt with the...
I think I said that last time that when
his chest hanging out,
when the clothes changed when he exited was when I paused. I had to take a break.
Oh, so
I had to take a break last time.
It's like his hair changed and everything. It was like a third person. It wasn't Clark, but it wasn't Superman. It was just like Suave McDougal.
Yeah,
just pimping out like, "How you doing, Lois?"
Now you know what?
I don't have any powers now, but girl, what up?
What I love the premise. The whole premise of this scene, by the way, was that he would just pretend to be a general so that he could gift him something. And then for some reason, Superman was going to see The Rock and just be like, awesome. And not just, throw that somewhere. It's just strange.
Well, he's not going to do it, He took it and he was like, okay, well, across the kryptonite, if it's not in lead, it's going to make him feel sick. So he knows it's not kryptonite.
Yeah, sure. I hope he knows that.
But then he like picks it up and he's like holding it and he feels normal. So he's just like, okay, this is just a weird thing they gifted me. It just so happens to look like kryptonite.
Yeah.
Not doing anything to me. But then of course he didn't know that there was, whatever it was, 0.58% fucking tar in it or whatever.
Yeah.
That
which is, by the way, not a single substance. Not a single substance at all. it's just another shot at him. I really like the actor for the villain.
Robert Vaughn.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's good. He's done some good voice acting stuff too. He's got a good voice.
I kind of wish while we were doing the actual the sing along, I'll call it. I kind of wish I had taken the time to estimate where I think I would have had to have paused and taken a break, without people here to watch with me, kind of thing. Yeah. Like if I just had to do this alone, would it just be one pause, or would I have to do this over a couple days now? I'm not sure. It was a different experience without by yourself. Honestly, that second one is a little daunting. It at some point you kind of like the face Christopher Reeve's making here.
Yeah.
When his Superman's being taken over by dumb Superman or whatever the fuck that is.
By evil Superman. Yeah, it was. It was like a weird combination of red kryptonite and black kryptonite.
Yeah, kind of.
Because it like turns him evil, but then it also splits his personalities into two different beings that he has to fight.
It was Rider kryptonite.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was. And it darkens his uniform and his eyeline.
Yeah,
like
absolutely
significantly.
Yeah.
Over time, really, I guess.
It was like, well, looks like my version of Superman is going to be the hot topic of conversation.
This is my new nominee for
become Dieter from Sprockets.
Easily.
Pet my monkey. Stroke him.
The the ongoing bit, and by itself is a funny joke. Like it would make for a funny 3-comic panel. Don't get me wrong there. But the Tower of Pisa thing.
The Tower of Pisa. Uh-huh.
It's a funny one-off joke to tell your friend about. I would enjoy it very much if you and I made that joke together. About wouldn't it be funny if this guy did this and this, blah, blah, blah. That would be funny. Yeah. That's as far as that should go.
Yeah.
It should not be here.
Yeah.
It should not be here.
It should be like an SNL bit.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do love when he, like, straightens it and he, like, spins around to, like, fly past the guy and, like...
Just flicking him off in Italian.
Basically flicks him off in Italian, yeah. And then the guy flicks him off.
Yeah.
All that was fun. Like, oh my God, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And then he goes and changes it at the end of the movie. And when he's good again, but it screws the guy twice.
But fucks him again. Yeah, he has no sense of actual consequences.
Yeah, I gotta put it back. Sorry, guy. You should have waited because Superman always comes back.
Like in the Reeve universe, if these movies went on, there's a version of this in like 1994. Right as the Authenticity Grave hit and grunge hit anyway, there's a 1993 or 4 version of these movies if it kept going into like Superman 7.
Yeah.
Where he starts to see that he was never really that good and that he wasn't really looking for consequence. He was just doing goodish things that he felt good about the whole time. Well, that he'll learn that the Tower Pisa guy killed himself 4 weeks later.
Right. Well, if we're talking about 1997, if it had gone that far, like we would have, I mean, they would have done the same thing with the Superman movies that they did in, well, shit, even in Superman 2 they did it. But it would have been like Superman meets a lady and decides, I shouldn't be Superman anymore.
Yeah.
Which is where this comes from. That trope comes from Superman 2.
Yeah.
Like every movie, Batman's like, I met a lady, so I'm going to go downstairs and pull this big lever and all the lights will go off in the cave. And I'll be like, never again, Alfred. Never again.
It doesn't completely, even on an evolutionary level, it kind of makes no sense. Because in a way, it's like, I'm glad I finally met the woman of my dreams. What I should do is immediately do the least attractive thing, jettison the most attractive thing about myself out the door.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, that is how things work generally.
Effectively, yeah.
Yeah. You know how many guys?
Peacocks tend to cut off their tails after they've met.
My God. Yeah. Like when I was in college, I knew so many guys that were musicians. Yeah. They toured around and they were badasses, and like all the ladies liked them and shit. And then like they met some girl, and then all of a sudden like they stopped touring, and they're like living in some awful place, and they're like getting rid of all their shit. And I'm like, all the stuff that you like.
So you play anymore?
No. Yeah, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah. Why?
You need a guitar strap? No. Yeah. No, I don't play anything.
All I've got left is the strap. Just stares at it in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
In silence.
It's like crammed in the nook under the stairs.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It's
not open.
So
he takes
weird.
The cover off the vent to pull it out to look at it at night. Yeah.
Yeah. It was especially bad, in our circles because, we were in like Christian circles, like Baptist campus ministry circles, where it was like, nope, she's going to have her farmhouse with her pastel,
Olympics footage.
Bullshit, and we can't have a Superman's anywhere in the house.
Yeah.
You don't get a man space unless you mean the place under the stairs.
Yeah.
It's just weird culture. It's a weird culture down here in Alabama, at the very least. I don't know. Let us know if you guys have that culture in other parts of... I'm sure the Bible Belt is heavy with that.
It is. I mean, and I know there's a lot of sitcom tropiness about man spaces, going back to the beginning of sitcom tropiness, but it's not... It does have a different flavor around here. It executes differently, for sure.
Well, there's generally more of a farmhouse aesthetic to it.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. Is like they jettison the most important, the most attractive part of themselves, and they'll be like, "Well, he don't play unless it's for the youth at the church." Sometimes he'll pull out. He becomes Reverend Tim Tom from the middle.
Yeah,
Like,
how are you gonna Pete Holmes a guy? Like, come on.
Well, I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna sing about Jesus and secretly lust after the girls who are about to turn 18.
True.
Oh my good days, good old days.
They could have pulled this set design from the exact canyon outside of the Batman 66.
Oh, where they're launching the missiles?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like they went down the road from the entrance to the Batcave there.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember the Batcave having missiles like that, though.
No.
I do wonder if that was filmed out there.
It genuinely looked like, it reminded me of the same thing.
Kind of also just looked like a set.
Yeah, very much so.
Or like a little miniature.
Like a mini set, for sure.
Yeah, like a little miniature. Yeah, absolutely.
But this scene reminds me. So, look at that guy.
The Atari Superman.
The game that should have been.
Yeah, Atari made that, apparently made that graphic and had a game that they developed and they never released it for whatever reason.
Yeah, pure cussedness and devilry. I don't know, man. That should have been released.
I don't know.
The joy on that villain's face as he walked. I should have heard stories about my parents experiencing that joy in arcades.
Yeah.
Like,
that
looked, I mean, shit, that looks good. I mean, even the graphic as they designed it there is legitimately, that was a workable design.
Yeah.
Enough for an arcade. It would have been fun.
What do you think about...
The big loss of this movie is the fake game inside it. It should have been made a real game. Or apparently it was.
I somewhat think the big loss of the movie is the setup that they had for, like, what was the point of making Hot Girl a super genius behind everyone's back, and then they never did anything with it?
The only payoff that I found for that at all is at the end, she knows to GTFO faster than Frogface.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, she's smarter than all of them.
She does a whole download of information about why it's going to blow up, and then says, "Get out of here, Frogface," or whatever the fuck. And that's the payoff of the whole thing.
Here's what I like. Okay,
the coax cable was going to blow up. I think she said.
I like that the younger sister, the bimbo blonde, and the black guy that he brought in were all smarter than the rich white guy.
Oh yeah.
I like that they were all smarter than him. He was the idiot the whole time.
Yeah. He and I don't genuinely think he doesn't purport himself to be anything other than a rich idiot with money and a plan.
Yeah, and that was like a little subtle dig that they didn't make a huge thing out of. That they weren't making that specific point. But when you think about everyone that Robert Vaughn's character surrounds himself with are in 1982 or 3 or whatever it was, generally considered to be a minority or a put upon person.
Oh yeah,
they're all smarter than the rich white guy.
Well, true. I mean, even in this version of media, we were around the era of like 9 to 5 and Dolly writing songs about dumb blonde and then she had one called that. That idea of subversion was probably very ripe around here.
Yeah. I just enjoyed it.
Wait. Oh, there it is.
There's the
spongy rock.
The spongy foam rock.
Yeah.
Nicely done. My wife called attention to that during the commentary. By the way, the commentary is available for $5 patrons. It'll also be available if you just want to pay $3 for just the commentary. You can watch it while you watch this awful, awful movie.
It, like the movie, bounces between rated X and G.
Right. And
for Spot,
you actually get to hear our wives laugh and grimace and go, no, when we say terrible things.
That is true. Yeah. You hear the actual reaction I get in the house when I say stuff.
You get a little piece of what we live.
My wife's resigned. No. Don't do that.
And my wife's boisterous laughter.
Yeah.
Because she likes when I'm awful. If she didn't, she wouldn't have married me because I'm awful all the time.
Mine has this classic knee-jerk reaction where, that's her version of saying something's funny. Sometimes it's just to tell me never to do it again.
No. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Stop.
It's like secret code.
Yeah.
Stop. Oh, that's terrible. That's the worst.
That is a version of laugh that
I'll always remember this because it was so funny, Jason.
Yeah. It genuinely, there's that particular reaction reminds me of the breakup of the Mandy Moore era of Scrubs, where it's laugh. Don't just say it's funny. Laugh.
Yeah, I don't remember that. That particularly reminds me of Seinfeld. Of course, everything reminds me of a Seinfeld.
Mm-hmm. True.
Where he's dating a woman who just goes, that's funny. He's like, no, I'm a comedian. I need to hear the laugh.
Yeah. Same trope.
Yeah. So, the end of this movie is just a blur of beams. We don't know what the hell is going on. There's a green beam, there's a blue beam, there's white beams.
I can't tell what the beams are up to. I mean, I think the green beam is roughly Superman shaped, but other than that, it's the rest of them just are beams for beam's sake.
Mm-hmm. By the way, you mentioned that no children got beaten in this movie.
No, they didn't.
What child got beaten?
Wait. Was it beaten? Where was it in this movie? There's some act of child violence somewhere in this movie.
Ricky is
it wasn't
in
a
the field he landed on a rock, the one rock that was in the middle of that field.
That was true. He did die later from head injury.
That was just him,
completely unassessed and unattended.
That was just him. He just did that shit.
God, I wish I could remember. It wasn't that a child got hit. It was that there was a third act of just violence against a child that didn't have to happen.
I didn't see violence against another child in this movie. What I did see is Richard Pryor throwing rocks at a donkey who didn't deserve it.
That definitely didn't have to happen.
Like, he's got to ride this donkey all the way down the canyon, breaking this poor donkey's back, with all the satchels and shit. And then they get down there, and then he's going to throw rocks at the donkey because he doesn't want the donkey to follow him.
Yeah.
It made me sad, dude.
Which, I mean...
We didn't see the donkey. We didn't see the rocks hit the donkey. So I'm assuming no animals were harmed in the making of this film.
Yeah, I assume a producer screamed like an ass off screen.
Sure, probably.
From the donkey's perspective, this is a tragic tale, though. He's brought downstairs, presumably... he doesn't know what's going on. He's just told to go. And then he gets down there and the guy abandoned him. He keeps walking behind him like, where are we going? You brought me all the way down here. What are we doing? And then he just throw a rock in my face.
Just a loyal donkey.
Yeah.
Got Richard Pryor biting Robert Vaughn's thumb.
And just the most...
knocking him out.
Harry, Curly, and Moe thing in all of the movie somehow.
By the way, I'm pretty sure Robert Vaughn just dies. I don't remember seeing what happens to him after this. I know the place blows up.
It might just be that he didn't make it. They got the... Did they get all the ladies out? I don't remember who makes it out of this movie. I stopped paying attention to what was happening consequentially. No one else in the film seemed to care, including the writers and directors. So I didn't so much need to invest myself.
Some really cool sets, though.
Oh, the sets were phenomenal.
Like the underground computer center hub, whatever it was, looks like straight out of Bond. It's really cool looking.
Yeah, that was.
Meanwhile, they have that, but meanwhile they've got like the actual buildings here in the city look like cardboard shit.
Yeah.
They look like a monster's about to knock it over in Power Rangers or something.
Yeah. Superman super again. Do we know that? I mean, I lost track of the timing. Was he good again at this point? I don't know if they could have
he's good at this point.
Enough for them to have printed another day's worth of sock, I guess.
The subway just went dark, and the guy in the hat with the flowery shirt just looks like a fucking Watcher from Fringe, dude.
Nice.
Like a weird looking, I don't know. He looks like, what's that guy? The guy that's playing Metamorpho right now.
Couldn't remember his name.
Anthony Kerrigan.
There you go.
Is that his name?
That is his name.
Yeah.
Well done. I was going to say Soho Berry.
Was that his name on that show?
On Barry.
Soho Berry?
I think it was Soho Berry on Barry.
No. His name wasn't.
Hank.
No Hank.
Yeah, that's right. I'm like, his name wasn't Barry too.
Thank you. For some reason, I was thinking it was like a knockoff Barry version.
No.
Zaz would be an easy one to remember for me.
Yeah, Zaz.
Who he was equally good at. I've never seen that man do
a
thing wrong on screen.
Yeah.
He even had, I think it's on Gotham. No, not Gotham. He had, no.
The way Reeve pimps off, the way he like walks out of that, he like.
Yeah, the coaxial energy shaft is,
he's like,
was going to blow up.
He's like hobbling out, holding his arm, and she's like, Superman, don't leave us or whatever. And he just like looks back at her, and I swear it's just like understood, bitch. And he like just runs away.
Yeah. Where do you get one?
Oh, there he is.
Where does one acquire one of those 70s rich dude jackets?
70s rich dude jackets. I think you just, go into a, you pretend to be part of the staff at a golf club, and you just steal one.
I've been in some golf clubs. I've never seen anything near that classic.
Because he either looks like he's a doctor.
Or unclassy. It's somewhere between.
He either looks like he's a doctor, or he looks like he is part of the wait staff.
A little. Yeah. A little.
You know who he looks like here? He looks like the captain from the Love Boat.
Very much so. Very much so. I've seen this clip of her a couple times. It's stupid every time.
Like the cyborg.
It's
cyborg sister.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, she's just blasting him. I mean, she's sick of his shit too.
Yeah.
Like
she does. She hits the other lady right in the vagina, hits him right in the fucking eyes. Just the thing she despised about both of them the most.
The thing that she despised, yes. She hated about both of them. She's like, I'm smarter than both of you.
Hate your vagina, hate your face. She's still out there pinned by the waist. It's a
little 3D mesh of Superman on this computer. They took the time to put the S on the back of the cape.
They have so many weird details at like the end of this climax that I just don't. Anyway, it's a hard movie to like wrap up, but like I still don't fully understand what happened. I mean,
there were lasers. Superman stopped it.
I do. It reminded me of. All right, so this will be some shade against the Across the Spider-Verse or Across the Universe, whatever. What's the Into the Spider-Verse?
Into the Spider-Verse.
The first one.
How are you gonna give shit to Spider-Verse?
Hold on. I'm
curious. I
said it was going to sound like that, but hear me out.
Oh, it's going to sound like that. So it's not actual shade.
Yeah, so this climax reminds me of it, though, in a way that doesn't work out. So it's hard. So, like, in that, I think it's in the first one, right? Where he goes into the big quantum machine.
Uh-huh. Oh, by the way, he destroys it using that acid from the beginning.
Because writing.
Right. I mean, you know what? I've seen worse.
Yeah, they finally found something.
Superman 4 happens.
Yeah.
I remember that.
God, yeah.
I don't even know. I don't even remember, like, that. I don't think that makes sense at all.
I kind of want to watch it now.
Part of Superman 2 didn't make any sense.
I really should. I want to give Superman 4 another try now, just because it's like, I want to see if it was as bad as I think it is in context.
Yeah.
But in the Spider-Verse movie, so you go in and like the whole climax, most of the action is just that they're in a giant machine and they're all kind of reacting visually. Like it's more storyboarding than it is story for a chunk there. But that can be done well or poorly. Mm-hmm. Like there's nothing like go tell someone what happened in that scene for about 7 minutes. Mm-hmm. Hard to really. It was a big fight. You had to be there. You know.
Sure.
This whole climax is you had to be there, but it wasn't worth it to be there. Mm-hmm. Like that is a very big difference.
I don't know. I still think Richard Pryor is enough.
But he's not in this scene.
He's not in this scene, but watching the rest of the movie is worth it because of Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
I still think
overall it is a better hang than 2 for sure, and I think possibly than 1. I think
not willing to go there with it.
I think there's a chance I would watch this one again before I watched the other 2.
I think it's got more rewatchability because of Richard Pryor.
Oh yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
that's the only real reason. Well, actually, Gene Hackman is really good in that other one.
I mean, I say that, but the first he's so good, but the movie barely movies. Yeah, it just crawls. It doesn't remember it's supposed to do anything for an hour. And like
that's so harsh, man. That's so fucking harsh.
I wrote down the time.
We all did, but it was harsh. It's harsh, it's a classic.
I do believe that's harsh. I know. And it's a certain kind of story structure that it just isn't. Yeah. I'm making fun of it against its.
I'm fine with the slow pacing for the most part.
I'm hitting from a different weight class on that, I know. But
so rough. But me and Bethany are going to watch Superman 4.
Yeah.
So if you after Gunn's Superman comes out, if you want to slide on up and do a like a 9 years later or 10 years later, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah. That's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been something 9 or 10 years since we talked about Superman 4. We've changed a fair amount, so I'm sure we won't like it more. But
it was a shared review then too.
With Scott Madison, I believe.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Madison.
Was it Madison?
It was Scott Madison.
Okay.
Yeah.
Couldn't remember. I remember that was a crossover event of some kind, but God help me. It's been a minute on that one.
Scott and Madison.
And it was there was a couple of particularly bad movies we hit at that time.
Yeah, we did a crossover close to then with Squadcast.
Yeah. The
Batman and Robin, which, dude, Squadcast is ending. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
They're wrapping her up.
Oh, they're going to pull a Mark Man.
They're not only that, they're taking their shit offline.
What? Why?
I don't know. I guess because they don't want to pay the Lipson.
Oh, okay.
Because they've been doing Lipson all this time.
Oh, true. Okay.
But yeah, Tim sent me the audio for the first part of our Batman and Robin review. So, here in the coming weeks or months or something, I'll post both together.
It's fair.
As a Batman and Robin review.
That's fair.
Just be like, hey, we were part of that. Oh, don't take that part
Before
off.
It vanishes forever. Here was the part.
Because we had part 2, damn it.
Yeah, true.
All right, you want to do some trivia?
Yeah, knock it out.
All right. Christopher Reeve threatened, he said he didn't want to come back for this film to protest Richard Donner's firing. And he hated the script.
Yeah, I feel like at some point I realized that the Richard Donner firing was an excuse they were using to not come back to these fucking films.
The film was already in pre-production. The producers scrambled to find an actor to play Superman. John Travolta was approached, but declined. Jeff Bridges and Kurt Russell were also considered, but they weren't interested at all. A few days after filming was set to begin, the Salkinds settled on Tony Danza as Clark Kent and Superman. Richard Lester was mortified with the casting of Danza, pleaded for Reeve to return. Reeve eventually agreed if he was allowed to change the script. The producers agreed. He didn't change it enough, I'd say.
Well, I do want to see it before and after. Did he make this worse or better? Did he insist on stuff and then
I don't know.
Made it worse?
Well, we know that originally the script, and I'll get to this, I guess, in a minute, but Yeah, this was gonna be like Brainiac teaming up with Mr. Mixia Spitlick. And Mixia Spitlick was gonna be played by Dudley Moore.
Oh.
I want to see a drunk little imp.
Yeah.
Superman.
That'd have been fun.
That'd been fun.
I'd like to see that script.
But they were also going to introduce Supergirl.
Okay.
Except she wasn't going to be his cousin. She was going to be his love interest.
No.
They were just all about like, okay, let's set up the next thing, the next franchise, but also fuck you, Margo. Fuck you, Margo.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Like it.
Now he's gonna bone his cousin. I mean, she's
it
not
was
his
definitely
cousin.
a fuck you, Margo. But there's also just they had every woman in these films threw themselves at Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
As long as he's not Clark Kent.
Yeah. Well, some of them even if he was.
Even if, yeah.
Dude, Lana was like
all about
Lana was all about Clark. Lana was all about Superman.
Yeah.
She liked both of them.
She really is the true one. Yeah, because like Margot Kidder, like that's the funniest thing about the big speech at the end that she's crying over.
Yeah.
Is like she's going to be left with like imagine someone crying because they were going to get rid of the half of you that they liked, and you're like, so you're just left of the half of me that I remember that I am a part of is so bad that I'm just giving you okay, I don't think I want to be in. It's just a rough scene altogether.
It does seem like she's like really into Superman, but at the same time, like I can see an interpretation where she's just like, I'm excited because you're Superman and I like, Superman hanging out. That's really cool. Thanks for coming and seeing my bastard child. Yeah. And then, she actually genuinely likes Clark. And that's a nice, that if you look at it that way, that's a nice juxtaposition from Lois, who was like, oh, Clark, you're okay. Yeah. But Superman's the real thing, And then Lana's like, no, I genuinely just like Clark, you bitch.
Or both. I'm good. I mean,
yeah. She's also that might be the most
universe. I definitely go with Lana.
That might be one of the most misogynistic things in the movie is that Lana is just kind of almost throwing herself at both Superman and Clark. She's just like, I'm a single mom.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. But like from the Clark,
but at least she's not dating Brad.
True,
actively.
I just realized it always looks like he's just had swim goggles on the entire movie.
Mm-hmm. He does. All right.
Next piece of trivia: he had swim goggles on the entire movie.
Yeah. Okay, we've already talked about Lois, 12 lines, screw her, that's what they thought. This is the first time Christopher Reeve had top billing, and Reeve was not happy with the film and often expressed in interviews that he was mostly disappointed in how it turned out. He initially swore never to play the role again, saying he was aging out of the role. He was persuaded to make Superman 4 in exchange for more input on the script. How did that work out? This is like when, I think we talked about this before, where I was just like, the more creative input Reeve has, the worse the films get. Yeah, I'm not sure that's his fault, but it's sort of like, in Star Trek Nemesis, Patrick Stewart finally got like creative control to some degree, and he's like, I want to drive a dune buggy. And they're like, all right.
This is a mistake. Put it back.
And like, that's a weird sequence.
We made an error.
When it was first revealed to producers that Lana Lang would be a single mother, a comic book was quickly written explaining how Lana came to be in that situation. How do you think?
Yeah. Had to have it on paper, though, in case someone looked up her, whorish backstory or whatever, I guess.
Oh, God. Yeah. We talked about that. The scene where Superman straightened the Tower of Pisa.
Huh? Which he's doing as we speak.
That was originally planned for Superman 2.
Mm.
I guess that maybe the Kryptonian villains were going to do that as part of their bullshit.
Yeah.
Maybe? I don't know.
See, that would have made more sense, though, if they had done it, and then he was just trying to correct it later by putting it back.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of, in this case, where he's just deduced this guy twice.
Yeah. Robert Vaughn once said in an interview that after the film was released, he decided to no longer show up at his son Cassidy's school because the students were horrified that he almost killed Superman.
Wow. I thought that was going into like decided to no longer show up in his son's life out of shame, but like
because the movie sucked, no, he just used it as an excuse. His son is like, Dad, I'm 16.
Yeah,
everybody knows what an actor is, and he's like, nope, the kids will be distraught. Guess I'll just sit back and watch my program.
No, he's just drunk at 9:45 in the morning. Say, I can't go, son. I can't go.
I can't go.
They'll be ashamed of me.
The children will hate me. Almost killed Superman, son.
That's 14 years ago, Dad.
Oh, man. Yeah, it was Return of the Jedi, and Octopussy came out around the same time and is believed that it cut into the profits. But it still wasn't a flop. Everyone says it was a flop. It wasn't a flop.
Not on paper, no. They made it back.
People on the internet don't know what the fuck they're talking about. As usual.
Flop does not mean you didn't like it.
And
that is not
say
synonymous.
that as a person on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Annette O'Toole admitted to being a big fan of comic books as a child and was thrilled to be cast as Lana. I mean, there's got to be... I mean, she was clearly happy enough to come back and be on Smallville for most of this run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ilya Salkin's first outline of the script was for Superman 3 included Brainiac and Mr. Mixia Spitlick teaming up, included Superman meeting Supergirl, who, unlike her comic counterpart, would not have been his cousin, leading to a romantic relationship to develop between the two. Dudley Moore was Mr. I can't say that name. Mixie Spitlick. Some days I can say it really well. Which would have been a more malicious take on the mischievous original. Mm-hmm. Brainiac would have been portrayed as romantically interested in Supergirl, creating the basis for conflict with Superman. So Brainiac was horny too in the original script. It was like, input.
There's, occasionally I remember that this was the late 70s, 80s, and a lot of cocaine was in a lot of rooms.
Warner Brothers rejected the script, which Salkind attributed to the script being too, quote-unquote, sci-fi for their taste, leading to the other characters'
Had they seen the first one?
exclusion from further drafts.
Yeah.
We'll watch Supergirl with Slater that came out the next year, 84.
Yeah.
We'll watch that shit for before Supergirl comes out, the new movie.
Yeah, we should definitely. Yeah. Let's save that one for that one, but yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've never reviewed that one before either.
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Richard Pryor hated filming the flying scenes as he had a fear of heights.
Don't blame me, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, dude. According to the writers, the original choice to play Ross Webster was Alan Alda.
Yeah,
I want that universe just to have Bill Hader talking about Superman as Alan Alda.
Yeah. He would have done a great job, but I won't take away from this guy. He missed nothing.
They wanted an actor who could be ruthless without losing charm.
I think they got one.
They also, Ilya Salkind also wanted Frank Langella, who played Perry White in Superman Returns.
Oh.
And Skeletor in the original Masters of the Universe.
Jesus. Okay.
They used 17 tons of salt on that ski slope.
Really?
By the way. Yeah, 17 tons of salt. Yeah. The original title was Superman vs. Superman, and the producers of Kramer vs. Kramer threatened to sue. So they changed it to Superman 3. One of Pierre Spengler's last suggestions.
Superman also?
Just call it Superman 3. Just call it Superman 3. Jesus Christ.
Superman, but 2.
Mm-hmm. Christopher Reeve asked his father not to watch this film or Superman 4.
Oh, that's rough.
Dude. Richard Lester didn't want to come back.
I know. I'd heard that part.
Richard Lester didn't want to come back, but then he loves comedy, and he heard that Richard Pryor was coming in, and he was like, "Oh God!" And he's got to work with. He had to come back just to work with Richard Pryor.
I get it. I would have done anything to get in a room with Richard Pryor at that time if I was back then. But Dad, please never watch those. Is rough. That's a rating on Rotten Tomatoes that you can't really get across.
Yeah, you may not have caught all of this.
I hope not.
Filmed in Calgary, Alberta, home of Canada's...
I didn't catch that all over again because it was...
Home of Canada's first Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise.
Oh.
It includes multiple KFC references. The Metropolis Computer School payroll is handed out by a man in a Sanders-style goatee. Gus walks past a Smallville display with Kentucky Colonel outfits. Gus drags the intoxicated Brad past a closet, whose open door shows a bag hanging full of KFC items. And Gus uses a chicken in the bucket secret recipe analogy to explain to Ross why the fake kryptonite didn't kill Superman.
Yeah, I missed the first two.
In the previous film,
you can't help.
In the previous film, though, a KFC employee in Metropolis is carried off by the Super Breath windstorm during the 3-on-1 fight. I think I mentioned that in the commentary.
Yes. Yeah.
Richard Pryor was paid $4 million, which was the biggest ever salary for a black actor. Eddie Murphy beat his record when he was paid double the amount for Beverly Hills Cop 2 in 1987.
They both earned that and more. Yeah. Like, he was the only thing in this movie that was worth $4 million.
Mm-hmm. At around 49 minutes, this movie features one of the first appearances of an ATM in a movie.
Oh, I guess that is, huh? Oh, so Amex just threw their name up there real quick.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay.
You want to guess how long Margot Kidder worked on this film?
14 minutes.
It says total of 5 days.
Yeah.
This was made when Richard Pryor was heavily into his cycle of cocaine addiction.
No.
I would have guessed that.
Yeah. Well, I say that he actually looks great on screen as far as that goes. I don't see about a bunch of like, oh my God, he doesn't look healthy.
Yeah.
But there was just like a chunk of like a decade, I think, for him where that was an ingredient somewhere in the mix, I think.
Mm-hmm. Jennifer Jason Leigh was originally set to be Lana Lang, but she turned it down because she was too young. Well, no shit.
Yeah.
That would have been weird.
Yeah.
Also, I don't like Jennifer Jason Leigh. She always looks weird to me. She's got a weird sensibility in her acting. I don't know.
I'm going to look her up now.
She's got kind of a Kira Sedgwick thing that I just don't care for.
Oh. Lee all spelled weird? I know her. Yeah. I forget where, but I've seen that face before.
This was the 12th biggest grossing film in North America in 1983, but it was released in the year of Superman's 45th anniversary. All right, let's see. There are 5 attributes that make this film unique amongst the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. It was the only one not to have an opening credits in space, thank God. The only one without any nuclear weapons.
That's a weird thing to try to do. Okay.
Yeah, this is the only one which Gene Hackman, Susanna York, and John Hollis do not appear.
Okay.
The only one not to have the Fortress of Solitude. And the only one not to have romance scenes with Superman and Lois Lane.
It did have a romance scene.
Did it?
Yeah.
With
the
Lois?
Ending. It had the ending of the romance. Portrayed violently on screen for the rest of us.
Oh, no, they didn't even acknowledge that shit, dude.
That's my point. I think they acknowledged it so hard that I saw it die in her eyes on screen.
She did have there was a little death rattle.
That's the weirdest part about that scene for me is they do stop to have her mourn it.
There was something there where she was like, oh.
Yeah, and then they just like, all right, that's
like some part of her in the back of her mind that she's not totally conscious of.
Yeah, she was not cool with all that for some reason, and then it just moves on, and we just close the movie. Here's something cool. All right, I think I kind of mentioned a little bit of it in the commentary. The song "Earth Angel" by the Penguins is played during the Smallville High School reunion dance attended by Clark and Lana. It was also played during the Enchantment Under the Sea dance at Hill Valley High School on November 12th, 1955, in Back to the Future. Mark McClure, who played Jimmy Olsen, also appeared in that film as Marty's older brother, Dave. No. You know, all these years, cool. I'm a huge Back to the Future fan. Yeah.
Huge Superman fan. Never connected that Jimmy Olsen was Marty's brother, Dave.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't at all.
I'm pretty sure in the first film he works at KFC.
That's funny. That's good. I kept joking that the only other notable music here, so it's the John Williams score, and then you have the slapstick section, just phoned in slapstick music, and then you had like a decent. They bought a decent soundtrack to the movie. Like they brought in their boys, the Beatles, there for that one, or a cover at least. But I forget who that. I should know who wrote "Roll Over Beethoven." It's gonna bother me. I'll figure it out later.
So, previously I told you that Robert Vaughn, he played Napoleon Solo in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., the TV show.
Yep.
What I didn't say was that in the movie, the 2015 movie, Napoleon Solo was played by Henry Cavill.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of neat.
I knew he was in I didn't know. Should we go back for those? Is that one of those just fun films that we missed out on because we weren't paying attention?
What, Man from U.N.C.L.E.?
Yeah.
I'm not going back for that shit. Nobody even liked it.
Did they not?
It didn't get a sequel. It didn't do well. I don't think anybody noticed it.
It was mixed reviews, but it was also in that period where, bless his heart. One of the problems with Cavill is that if he wasn't doing Superman, no one cared. So he didn't get to use his star cred like other people did.
Yeah. I saw the trailer for The Man from U.N.C.L.E. and I just thought, well, he should probably play Bond. Moving on.
That Bond light looks okay.
Yeah. All right, Peter Whitman, who played a larger role in Superman 2, that of a sheriff's deputy, has a minor role here. I don't know who he was.
There's a guy at some point that I think I may know what you're talking about, but...
Yeah. And then the last piece of trivia is just that kid who played Naked Baby Superman was outside of that.
Not Naked Baby, somebody else.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got, man. That's all I got.
That may be all we need.
I like the movie okay, and I also hate it.
Both those things are okay.
It's one of those. It's one of those where it's like Superman 3 is bad, but it's in a charming way, whereas Superman 4 is just terrible.
See, now I just want to see. I want to see 4 again. And
I mean, you're gonna have fun with Lex, but then when you get Lex, you have John Cryer.
well, that's what I'm curious about. Is like, I don't know. I do remember pieces of that, but what's funny is I remember being so struck by how bad some of 4 looked, and now I can't imagine it looks any worse than some of the stuff.
It does.
Saw. I mean, I know that Volcano is bad, but it
does. And do you not remember just Superman flying around in outer space around the moon and shit with Mariel Hemingway? Neither one of them having a problem breathing?
No, I don't.
It's so bad, man.
That's rough.
It's so bad. And John Cryer is Lex's nephew, Lenny. He's like, okay, Uncle Lex.
Yeah, I remember that guy who sounds like...
Tubular. It's like he's just doing fucking Sean Penn from Ridgemont High, which is what everybody who did back then. It was all like California surfer boy bullshit.
Was that the origination of that thing? Because like, my head, it just sounds like a bad Michelangelo impression.
Right.
Because it's an anachronism in my head, though.
The origination of it was a thing that happened in California.
Yeah. I know there was a valley vocal style, but
I do think
where it started showing up on the screen, I don't know.
I'm sure that where it came from, at least in a large popular sense, was Spicoli from Ridgemont High.
That's it. I mean, I know Valley Girl. I think I want to say in the late 70s, Zappa had Valley Girl. Like I know there were references around the time, but became one of those weird accents that it's okay to blame us for because I don't know why we did that either.
Yeah,
as a nation, sorry.
Yeah, they did there's a female version of it. And it's basically like the Clueless Girl. Got me with a spell.
Yeah, Alicia.
Oh God.
Silverstone just put a nail in that way. It can't be done any better. She
made a resurgence.
Distilled it into perfect form.
Back when we were living together, I felt like it was when that "Let Me Take a Selfie" song came out. I felt like it came back for a while.
It can. It was a big enough style, and again, she did such a good job of formalizing it that I think it's going to make some little back and forth. It's going to be a mullet situation, roughly.
I hate that that's back.
Yeah.
And the mustaches.
And the pencil thin pedo mustache.
Yeah.
I thought that one would be immune to any whims of fashion, just because it's a pedo mustache.
Yeah.
I just thought that would overrule any other thing, but no.
Well,
the need to look slightly different won out.
It's not beyond me that I think it took a different route because it kind of. I think it was a bit of a taking back situation because it was a thing where it was like gay dudes started doing the mustache because of Freddie Mercury originally.
Sure.
And then society started trying to paint gay people as pedophiles. So then the media started portraying pedophiles as having the thin mustaches because they thought it seems right somehow.
Oh yeah.
But then somewhat recently, that dude did that Queen movie, that Freddie Mercury movie.
Yeah.
And that's when it came back.
You
Stylistically.
That could be.
I'm just looking at the timeline going maybe.
It could be. Those little mild cultural inflections mean more than you think they do. It doesn't take much to start a pencil thin mustache.
I mean, they just see it. They're like, oh, holy shit. Yeah, Freddie looked great with that mustache.
I mean, yeah.
I think I'm going to try to rock that.
But he could sing.
But also the 90s resurgence, and everybody was like, oh, yeah, of course.
Look, these things happen. I mean, I had a bowl cut, and it wasn't because I loved the look of the bowl cut. It was because the bowl cut took over, and I had to have one too. Yeah. In order to not be made fun of for not having a bowl cut.
I refused.
So for a summer, I had a bowl cut.
I refused. Most of my childhood, if you look at school pictures or anything, I straight up have a Conan O'Brien. That's what I did.
Which does sound lovely. I would like to see that.
Yeah. I mean, I was a fat guy. I was fat, so I was the fat, red-faced kid, the cheeks all red.
Yeah.
So
I'm just cowlicky and weird, so it just looks strange in general for the most part.
If I ever find pictures, I'll send them to you.
If anyone ever took him.
Yeah. I was also, despite my weight, a fairly active kid, so unless I had hairspray, the hair didn't stay up very long. Yeah, but it got messed up easily.
Mine would. Many of my hair were determined to reach the heavens or another planet or whatever it was they're reaching out for. Mm-hmm. But not my head.
Your poor head.
Yeah.
I think we're going to wrap it, man. What do you think? You good?
I could stand to.
You can stand to do more?
I could stand to wrap it.
Oh, you can stand to wrap it?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to push you.
Yeah, I think we've done as much of this movie as could be done.
Not trying to be fresh, not trying to be forward. All right. I don't know what's happening here.
All right.
Now, did you want to do Superman Returns? We should probably announce it.
We do have one more week
We've
left.
got one more week.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, Superman Returns. Do you want to do commentary first, or do you want to do it like the old days?
I kind of enjoyed the commentary part.
Okay.
But
all right.
I don't know what that... I mean, it's different, but I don't know. We'll have to talk about that part.
Okay.
Because I'm not sure either.
We'll see.
Returns is a very different beast than like...
Returns is a very different beast. Better movie.
I might have to actually
in
pay
some
attention
ways.
to Returns.
Yeah, you're going to need to pay attention.
Like,
yeah. I need you to very, very... I don't know. I need you to be very keyed into how much Superman is just basically just a sad stalker. Just a mopey stalker.
I feel like that's going to show up pretty keenly.
People giving shit to Man of Steel, I think it's because they are already sick of him being an emo mope stalker in the first.
Maybe he was an emo stalker in Man of Steel for like
he was really a stalker.
He was emo for half a verse, and it was a decent song.
He was just mopey. He was a bit mopey.
Just saying, it was way better than some of the portrayals we've seen.
Absolutely. So yeah, absolutely. It was not nearly as bad as what people make it out to be, but I think people are also remembering Superman Returns, where all he did was like look sad and hang around outside Lois's house and watch her with her fiance.
I mean,
it's creepy.
Smallville even. We spent 10 years with that show, and it was relatively mopey for
with like
giant chunks of it.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Clark sitting on his windmill out in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
Or Clark sitting up in the loft of the
bay
bar.
window staring at the star.
If I would.
God, I forget that soundtrack was involved.
Here we'll go.
Oh, Lord.
We up high, we down low.
Christ.
Yeah. I feel like that was every episode. Oh, or they get him up on the windmill and he'd be like, I'm not scared to fly. I'm not that naive.
It's like one of those shows where half of them...
He's like holding hands with Lana, but they're still not together.
I could probably find just the cumulative soundtrack for that show and just go over how many I think were probably at a prom that I was at some point. And it's going to be a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to be a lot.
Absolutely. I don't think they... Well, you know what? I thought that show didn't have a bronze, but they totally did because Lana opened up that damn coffee shop and then they had musical guests.
Oh, yeah.
The bronze being from Buffy.
Buffy, yeah.
Like all those shows had to have like 90210 had the Peach Pit, and then the Peach Pit After Dark, where there was the club that Valerie ran, freaking, Tiffany Amber Thiessen. I know too much about all this shit.
There was this period that we were only, culturally, we were only about 40 years removed around. So teenagers didn't exist until 50 years before that.
Okay.
And there was only about 25 years before that teenagers, in theory, had enough money to market to.
Right.
I think there was just still a holdover generation that was like, but I don't know if the teenagers will watch stuff unless we give them something really interesting. Make sure they have their music there.
Yeah.
So they'll sit and watch the rest of the show.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I don't want them to miss the Walmart advertisements.
Yeah, there was a bit of a teenagers are going to go out and they're not going to watch our show.
Got to keep their attention.
But then they caught wise, man. They started airing that kind of shit on Thursday nights. What we're going to do is we're going to air it on Thursday nights. We're going to get their hormones all jazzed up for Friday night. They'll enjoy that. They're gonna watch Brandon and Kelly get it on in a pool, and then they're gonna go try that and be like, "Why does the water dry it out?"
Yeah,
and then we'll be able to hawk our Noxzema and our
we're gonna do a Thursday
lubrication products.
Yeah, and then the following Thursday we're gonna do a very special infection episode.
Right. Oh God, 90210 did that shit hard.
Probably.
Kelly waking up and she goes and looks in the mirror and she's got red boils all over her, and then she wakes up and she's like, I thought I had AIDS. Because that's what she thought AIDS was.
Of course. Yeah, you just get the plague. Obviously.
Well, she cut herself and she was in the proximity of some dude or something. Something happened. Yeah. She was dealing with some dude who had AIDS.
Someone said AIDS in the vicinity of a knife. Yeah. And she thought she had it.
Yeah.
Because there was a period there.
Something happened, and then she thought, I don't know, it was kind of fun. 90210 was a good show. It was bad, but it was good. Oh, and
it was a lark.
Here's the thing: one of the guys on 90210, one of the kind of background guys who got lines from time to time, was the guy that played Lex Luthor on Superman and Lois.
Oh, of course.
And he had a flat top, and he was wearing a Letterman, Oh, and he was always mooning over fucking Brenda and being like, "I want to dance, Brenda." And she's like, "I'm with Dylan." You know? But then she dances with him after she and Dylan breaks up. He gets a little bit of a victory.
That would be a funnier origin story than what's in Lois and Superman.
Yeah.
Lois and Clark or whatever.
Yeah. It's like, whoa, why are you so mean? Why do you hate us so much, Lex? That bitch Brenda wouldn't dance with me.
This Superman's last words. That was another universe.
It was a different universe. I'm in the multiverse, bitch.
Actually, they would just have the John Cryer version of Lex Luthor going, I know, and I don't care. And turn to the page, and you're gone anyway.
Yeah. I would love to see a small vignette of, like, John Cryer's Lex going through the multiverse with that book from Elseworlds.
Oh, yeah.
Or Crisis. And then he just, like, comes upon a universe where, like, he's like, oh, Lex? Thinking it's him. He's like, Uncle Lex, where? And he's like, oh, Jesus, what is this? That would be so much fun.
Yeah.
Just alcoholic Lenny Luthor.
Yeah.
Just sitting there wondering why his uncle gave up on him.
That would be
I tried my best, Uncle Lex. Oh.
That would be a joy. Oh, he has to go. And just,
just zap him out
writes
of his
him right out.
Yeah. Oh, the last thing I remember is Nuclear Man came. Oh.
Actually, the John Cryer version would just do something. Oh, that won't do it all.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. I guess we're going to go, and I guess we'll see you when we do Superman Returns in some capacity.
However we've worked out the nuts and bolts of that. Yeah, that'll work.
However we've worked out those nuts and bolts. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we're not going to be teaching a kid how to hold balls.
No. Or talking about mouths in the same conversation.
All right. Well, until next time, keep some DC on your screen.
Bye.